today's video, I'll be breaking down how to make this Chelsea matchday graphic. This is a continuation from one of my previous streams, so if you missed the first part, as this is we're picking up from where we left off, please go back to the stream and watch how I made this. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and tell me what you want to see next. So let's get into it. So as you can see here, we've got a composition featuring Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Enzo Fernandez. And as I mentioned before, this is just a continuation picking up from where we left off in one of my recent streams. So if you missed the first part, please go back and watch the first half an hour to familiarize yourself with what I've made so far. So let's get into the first part of what we're doing first. My first step for this graphic is what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some text. So most likely I'm going to add in the font called Tusk Grotesque 3700 bold. But first thing, I'm just going to group all these layers together so I know what I'm working with. Background, Mount Havertz, name these two, and this one is Enzo, and then I'll just group this logo together. For this one, we're going to do, for the text here, what we're going to do is based off the upcoming Chelsea game against Dortmund. So we'll just type in Chelsea. And we're also going to skew this, most likely, yep, this way. Dortmund. And we'll just increase the line spacing to around 28, 29. Make it a little bit smaller, like so. And we're going to add some outer glow behind, not as strong, so we just want a bit more spacing and size with the shadow, and we'll just decrease the opacity to around 40% for that one. And we're going to make a layer behind and just do our own shadow behind text here, just because we want the glow to be a bit stronger behind the Chelsea text and onto the Mount kit. Next, what I'm going to do is create two shapes. So we're just going to start with the white rectangle color, draw that in here, make it a tad bit smaller holding down shift. There we go. And duplicate it onto the other side. And what we'll do is we'll hold those two together again and make them a little bit smaller. And just move this left one across slightly. And now we'll go and grab the Dortmund logo. And we'll just put it on the right side because I'm not sure if Chelsea are home or away for this game. And holding down the two layers, we'll come up to this middle part and click and make sure they're centered. And we will change the rectangle color to this color, this grayish kind of color. And again, check that they're middled. I might make the logo a tiny little bit smaller just because we want some spacing outside around the logo. And now I'll quickly grab the Chelsea logo as well. And we'll make sure they're the same size by overlaying them on each other and then move it across. And again, we'll make sure these are middled. So just holding the two layers down. I actually might move that one across just a little bit like so. And now we'll group all these together. Make it a tiny little bit smaller. And we might prop up this this Mount image. We might make a little bigger. Just because there's a little bit of dead space that needs to be occupied. So we'll just wait for that to render. And then again, I will just do the same for Havertz. So I might pop down this shadow layer that I've got behind in. And what I might do is I might grab from the stream and just put the original first parts in so people know what's going on. Now I'll come back to our layer mask and I'll fix the layer mask up just because we've got some stuff that shouldn't be in there behind, and I'll quickly add a layer mask behind for Havertz just because his arm is sticking out from behind and we don't want to see that. And we'll fix that out for Mount just because it's needed text and I don't really want that to be seen as well. And again, I might make this just a little smaller. There we go. And now I'll also fix up the glow behind hand like this, like so. And I'll just increase this to around 50% for the outer glow on the text. Now what we're going to do is put the match details in. So we'll just put Stamford Bridge, and we'll change this font to 2500 medium, make it smaller, and have it from the left side, like so, and make sure it's middle to the left. Yeah, there we go. And just increase our VA. Now what I'm going to do is press Ctrl Shift Alt and E, convert it to a smart object, and come to Camera Raw Filter. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to move this Enzo across just slightly and increase the size of him, just because there was a little bit of dead space there that I want it occupied. And now I'll do the exact same thing I just did then and come up to Camera Raw Filter. Going to increase our clarity by around 20%, 10, increase the contrast and the exposure, increase the grain, and decrease the vignetting. I want the grain around 10, not as strong as I had it there. And a tiny little bit of sharpness, just a little bit, like so. And now what I'm going to do is, just because I want a little bit of a blue tone coming out of it, I'll increase the midtones and the shadows and the highlights, just to draw those blues out a little bit more, like so. Now come to our adjustment layers, and I'm going to add a Camera Raw filter over the top of it. Sorry, color lookup over the top of it. Go with this one and knock it down to around 20%, like so. And there we go. That's how I make this Chelsea match day one for the UEFA Champions League. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, tell me what you want to see next. See ya. In today's video, I'll be showing you some graphics I've made from recent streams. These are just clips taken from my recent streams, and as always, you'll need a 4-letter password to unlock the PSDs, so let's get right into it. Just masking the images out for this one. There we go. Yeah. Well, we can have his hands still appear on the right side. It would make sense too. It would look nicer. Just means I'd have to, yeah, bump that up to around 30%. Good, mate, yourself? Sorry, I just, yeah, I didn't even read that properly. That's all right. Yeah, I've been good. Just been busy, so haven't been able to get around to anything in probably the last week or so. But I decided to hop back on everything again and get to it. So start off today with this Rashford edit stream for about an hour and a half as per usual. And then as we go on in the next few weeks, we'll pick up the longer streams again. Gonna move more in again just because I'm so far away from my desk. Alrighty. Do our Camera Raw process. I like these two images because of how soft the face is looking, so bump that texture all the way up. Is there any greens that are, yeah, we're getting some greens coming through. I'll just play around with the hue and sat a little bit. And increase the sharpening to around, not too high, it's probably to around 30%. Bump up the exposure as well, and the contrast. Knock down the highlights and bring up the shadows a tiny little bit. Yeah, come out well. And I'll duplicate that and put that onto the other Rashford layer. Probably do the same thing again. Might have to, oh no, the reds come out fine in the colors. So I've been designing for I want to say 3 years. I always change this answer every single time I'm asked. Yeah, I think 3 years now I've been designing for. I want to say two to 3 years. I want to say 2 years. 2 years minimum, 3 years maximum. So in between that, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna name these groups. Smaller Rashford, medium Rashford, and then, oh no, that's not what we want. What's going on here, mate? Rightio. Bye-bye. Can't remember what I've done here, but I know what I've done. I actually don't know what I've done here, to be honest. No. There we go. I knew it was one of them. I'm gonna grab something from Envato Elements quickly. How about yourself, mate? And how long have you been designing for? I'm assuming it's not gonna stay as a white, and then what we'll do is we'll copy the Manchester United logo in and then onto this one and just increase it pretty well up, so you have that devil in the background just poking out like so. And I'm gonna mask out the top so it gets rid of that weird line that we've got going like here kind of thing. So bump out, there we go, and unlink the mask and just increase it a little bit more. What is that? Yeah, I thought that might be doing that. So yeah, just relink it and then increase the size again. Alrighty. Now I'm going to work on these shadows for the smaller Marcus Rashford. Just using my foot shadow brush that I have. God damn. Yeah, foot shadow brush that I have. Go 1 and 1. Same with the ball. Hopefully keep Jackson Weeby happy. I'm gonna message him, tell him to come join my stream again. Alright, let's get to it. Start with the foot shadows now. Put this flow back to around like 20%. Started a little bit lighter with the shadows, but that can be fixed pretty easily just because I'm starting a little lighter around the actual outside of the base, and then we'll work in with the base later of the shadows. Gonna make a new layer and have so what we're gonna do here is we'll flatten the soft round brush like so, just that tiny little bit more. Give me your color look. Maybe. Oh wait, do you want what ones do you want? Tell me. Are these foot shadows better, mate? You've been getting up me about them, so just need the base to be a little bit more shadowy. That looks better. Can't say it doesn't. Can't say it doesn't look better. We need text at the bottom now. I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna make this back part white. Oh no, I'm not. Because I can't do that. Why can't I? Make. And then. No, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Different personalities without the hat on. I don't know what that means. I think this is just because of how the person's cut the image out, because they haven't left that part of the boot on. Otherwise, it wouldn't look so bad if this wasn't like that, if that makes sense. But yeah, probably the ball could be a touch little lighter, but like stronger on the sides, but not. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I don't have hat on. Alrighty. Just added a little bit more shadow around legs. Whoever cut these images out didn't do the best job. That's alright. I'm gonna make another layer just behind Rashford again, and just plop in these shadows. Separates the this image from the rest of the composition, so I'm gonna move more in, but then I have to sit more out, which isn't fun because it's annoying. Anyways, I'm gonna repeat the same process of those shadows behind here, like so. If you're new here, subscribe. Just do it. I don't need to convince you. Just press the button, mate. Simple. Just press the button. Big and it's red. Press it. Might knock that down. Yeah, 70%. Just a little bit too strong. You need more. This one's too desaturated compared to the other two images. But I can't get that saturation back on the face without... Oh no, I could, because I could just add in a few saturation layer and then get the pen tool out and mask around the... for some people it's not that simple. For some people it isn't. I think I looked at like the stats the other day. Like I haven't been on actual YouTube just other than to like respond to comments for like ages because I was busy with work and Tim Zoo's fight. So it was like something like, I think like 80% of people weren't, oh no, I need to invert that. Like 80% of people weren't subscribed, which was a fair amount. Hey Toby, how you going? Thank you for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Just needs a bit more. See that? That helps. But it doesn't. I don't know, whenever you want to do the design showdown, mate. Good, mate. Good. Alrighty. I don't know what to do here because I gotta draw more darkness back into the image to make it match the other ones, but also have more lightness in it, if that makes sense. Not more saturation it needs. I go back into the color grading and try and match it. Just because someone's thrown in a... it wouldn't be the reds, because that's the kit, so... yeah, that doesn't really do much. Text-wise, I don't really know what to go with. I can't really throw in a 10 behind, because that's similar to what I've previously made, so... Might just chuck in some inner glow, like so. Like this. Just copy my settings from, what is color, 63%? Oh, you know, you need 63. Distance No hat today. Yeah, no hat today, mate. Couldn't be bothered to find it, so. Choke, I'm assuming is, yeah, none. What looks better? I don't know what one looks better. The shadow? I don't know if I chuck this on linear dodge. Oh, that's too strong. Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, this one looks better. And I'll do the same for the rest of the images. There we go. All right. What else to add in? That red needs to be more red. It's too pink at the moment. Doesn't have that united feel to it. It has the... It's not dark enough, if that makes sense. I like that devil behind though. The devil behind looks good, so. Oh, this boot is bugging me with this part here, how it isn't cut properly. That is really annoying. Maybe even a darker shade of red. That's too contrasty. Like that, kinda. What looks better, the white or this or this? This red's too strong compared to the other ones. I'll just get selective color and fix that. Reds. Dialing back the cyans down all the way, yeah. Hello Pedri, how you going? There we go. That kind of works. Well, maybe that'd even be the same for this then. I want that more balanced kind of look on the face. See if that works. Should. That sort of helps it. Gives us a little bit closer to where we want to be. Shadows do need to be a little bit stronger now on the feet now though. Jackson, sorry to annoy you. Right. Oh, it's because we got inner shadow. Yeah, no, I can stay off. Realize that probably would happen. Should be able to make a layer mask for effects, if that makes sense. I just already knew I wanted toxin. I'm gonna slap in a 10 like a number, his number, even though he doesn't wear 10. Or does he? I don't even know. 19, I think Rashford wears. Oh no, he does wear 10. There you go. Knock that fill down to 0. Yeah, there we go. Put that stroke in behind. And I'll add in some burst of color in behind both of them. I don't know what number Rashford wears, man. Yes, I can. Pedri, I can do that. I will do that now, my friend, very quickly. Alrighty. I'm gonna add in some glow around the sides of Rashford here. Yeah, I can't see any of your posts. Pedri. Nothing shows up for me, my friend. Not color overlaid yet. There we go. Yeah, nothing shows up, mate, so. Just adding in the lighting. I do allow messages from all Pedri as well. It's on messages. Okay, I'll check now. Check for you, my friend. Still can't see anything. This needs a bit more stronger. Bit more stronger whites around the outside, I reckon. Yeah, here we go. Now I'm getting where I wanted with this piece. Do the same for this Rashford too. Control Shift and I, and then backspace, and then turn this to linear dodge. I'll flick back this way, and then that way. You still hear Jackson's designs? Jackson from Melbourne. You can see that little stroke effect it makes along the face and stuff, so. May even color look up this. See how it turns out. Yeah, it gives it. These two need it, so. Yeah. Just balances those reds out a little bit more. And I'll repeat the same process for this image. Thank you, Marseille South. I appreciate it. We can already see the differences that makes already. It's really getting tight on the shadows around the cheeks and stuff. And we'll also fix up the eyes too. Might also increase just the lights A little bit around that cheek there, it was just a little bit too dark. Now we can move on to the next one here. For this Rashford, so I'll make 2 layers again and put them to overlay, W and B. Call them W and B. And then just repeat the same process again. It's pretty simple, so. Yeah. Luckily, we're actually on the wrong Rashford, but that's all right. Happens sometimes that you click on the layer and it'll take you to the wrong image you're trying to work on. The link didn't come through either, Pedri, but I'll check that out in my own time, just not on stream, my friend. And then I'll get back to you on Instagram with feedback. Again, just going over the light images with the brush, like so. Just drawing those colors in, and we won't forget the hand that's there. It's not too much, but we won't forget it. Now just drawing our shadows in, like so. Sorry about that, team, just quickly grabbing a color lookup layer. And now we'll do the same process again, this time on the actual correct layer. Alrighty. Start with our whites, and we will just draw over the light images on the face, the neck and stuff. And now I'll switch to our blacks and draw over the shadows on the image. Like so. Might increase the opacity of the whites up to around 47%. We're just working on a darker image in a little bit of a smaller space, so we really want the color correction to stand out. And actually be visible. Kind of works, so we'll just run with that. No one said anything while I was on my phone. No. Alright. Gonna get an image of Old Trafford. Like so, yeah, flick that one on, and then see, I don't mind that. It's actually a good image, that. That can be our backing one for the bottom. Got the devil in the background. Make sure that's clipped, and then we'll also clip. Oh no, we won't clip it. We'll just enlarge it slightly. Not too much, but just enough to fill the image. Alright. Now black, come with it 2 adjustment layers, and then just make this black and white. Might draw and play around with the black and white. Just that little bit more. We want the image to pop a little bit, so put the overlay down to around opacity, sorry, and the layer to go to around, down to around 16%, maybe a bit stronger. We just want the back image of the stadium to be visible, and then we will brush out the bottom half of it, just because we don't want the grass in it. All we want is really the stadium. Now with that, we can just get rid of the rest, so just turn the flow up, make sure we're not brushing away anything that we want to keep. Go back in and fix that up, and maybe just increase the opacity a tiny little bit more. That backing part just looks a bit too light. That's all right. Might drop the opacity on. Sorry, the only opacity of color down on this. Just a tiny little bit more. Really want those contrasting reds between. So Come to here, convert it to a smart object, and then just type in Marcus Rashford. Make sure it's middled and everything properly, like so. And then we'll change the letter spacing to maybe 2.75. It's a bit too tight. That, yeah, there we go. Alrighty, that's nearly done this. Thoughts on Man United losing 7-0. Funny. Woke up and I thought it was fake. Couldn't really care anyway, I'm not a Man United fan, so. And increase the clarity to, I can't speak today, man, holy crap. Clarity to around 20. Contrast a little bit, and then burst the exposure slightly. Give it a little bit of sharpening. Put the grain up to around 15. We just want that bit of noise. A little bit of noise, not too much. And then knock the vignette down. Add the Man United logo in. I'm going to see if any color lookups will work or not. So I don't think anything will. Oh, this does kinda. Awesome, there we go. Well, in today's video, I'll be showing you some graphics I've made from recent streams. These are just clips taken from my recent streams, and as always, you'll need a 4-letter password to unlock the PSDs, so let's get right into it. Hello everyone, welcome. Back streaming again, finally. Been a little bit, that's alright. I'm gonna pick up from where I left off with this, this cricket edit. Hey brother, how you going? Thank you for tuning in straight away, I appreciate it. One second. Thanks mate, appreciate it. Alrighty, let's get to designing. Gonna add it some orange glow around this knot here. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but that's alright. We'll control shift and I that, and then backspace, alt backspace, then clip that. I'm gonna set this to a linear dodge add. Duplicate it and then do the same thing. Just because it's got that nice little glow effect around. Football match day poster. Sure thing, Leo. We'll look at getting to that soon, my friend. Might have that for a video tomorrow. Got some extra time in my hands, so I'll get to that. I reckon some smoke would do good. I just got to very quickly. Gonna duplicate this background side. This one here. And then just move it along in a second. Mate, dropping my phone, dropping everything. So I'll drag this layer below, just because we want the copy layer below it. And drag that one across again. Hold those together and then convert it to a smart object. And then come to filter, distort, displace. And I'm gonna put a displacement map on it. I go with 2020. There we go. Move it up. What I'll do is I'll just mask out the bottom part here. Knock this back up. And knock that down. There we go. I reckon we need some stuff in the background now to add. Do I have an outer goal on this? No, I don't. There we go. I reckon this can have just a little bit of shadow behind it. There we go. Just a little bit. There we are. Like so. Don't know what else to add. South Africa. Four megapixels. Just take this one in. There we go. Knock this down to color. Oh, maybe actually overlay would probably be a better idea. And then adjustment layers, black and white. Clip that in. There we go. Soft brush, and then I'll mask these sides out. Like so. Just want a little bit at the bottom, not too much, but a little bit. Slowly coming along. Now add some camera raw filter. Control Shift Alt and E, convert it to a smart object, and then come up to filter, camera raw filter. Increase this a little bit. Vignette, grain, and I'll play around with the calibration. A little bit of vignette. There you go. Oh, we want a bit of red actually. There we go. Welcome anyone new to the stream. Hey brother, how you going, Karlov? Good to see you again. You're a regular, which is good to see, my friend. Very good to see. There we go. We've got that distorted kind of effect that I wanted to go on this. And then we're not changing the color of the logo. So, is there anything you want to see, my friend, made today? Let me know. Let me know, my friend, and I'll make something. Welcome everyone, welcome, 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 welcome. Alrighty. We're gonna have a look at some of my comments and some of my requests, see if we can do anything live on the stream for anybody. I think I had a request for full-time, like 433, so we can definitely get that done. Definitely get that done today. I'm gonna get it done right now, actually. So it's pretty simple how they do things at 433. Alrighty. Where's my downloads? Just downloaded it, so there it is. Blind. It's alright. Gonna use one of the photos I took for this. What was recently? Go with this one. Alright. So our first step is to create a new layer. And then with our gradient tool selected, we're going to put it on blacks to transparent, or shadows to transparent. And go for it one up, and then another one up, like so. Yep. And now what we'll do is I'm going to put some camera roll just on this image, just to make it pop a little bit more. Tiny little bit of grain. There we go. And I might centralize it. There we go. Pop this one up so we know what we're doing. Gonna create a shape with our rectangle with our shapes option. So we'll start with black and drag that one over again. And then we'll turn this to like a light grey, a little bit darker than this. About there is where we want it. Perfect. Knock that one off, and let's just see what we're looking at the moment. Group those two together. And put some outer glow on it, like so. I'm just going to drag in a random league logo. There we go. Like that. Gonna need a bit of outer glow as well on this one. There we go. And I'm gonna move this gradient just down a little bit. Just to see, with this 433 one, it's not as strong as how we've got this one at the current. Drag that down a little bit more. Yep, like so. Now I'm going to make some of my own adjustments to the rectangles. Gonna make a new one. There we go. Right click and then skew it sideways. Yeah, that's true. Do 433 always use? I'll quickly look. Yeah, they always use the black background no matter what. Clip that and then clip that as well. And then I'll again skew it just because it's not as angled as I want it to be. I'll move it up and down. I'm going to delete this other one actually, like so. Still not as angled as I want it. As you can see, theirs is like that, and whereas mine is like that. So it's not, yeah, it's not what I want it to be. Move this one down again. There we go. And one final thing I'll do is just get a new gray, make a new layer. There we go. Not delete it, make a new layer. Clip it. There we go. Move it a little bit down to the side. And then I'm going to turn the opacity down slightly. I'm going to change the angle again a little bit. Not much, like that. There we go. Welcome everyone new. How are we going? Let me know if you want to see anything specific made. And now I'll duplicate this one. There we go. Just move it over. And clip it again. Oh, I forgot to actually carry the rectangle part over. That's all right. There we are. Mate, you're gonna let me duplicate and take all this. I think that's my bad. There we go. Clip all that. There we go. Now we hide this one. That's looking better now. We're slowly getting there. I reckon I'm gonna look it up. 433 font. California Gothic. There we go. Is it? Yeah, there probably is some inner shadow on the rectangles. So you're right there, So you're right there, brother. I think it's California Gothic. It looks... This one. It looks similar, so... California Gothic 1-0. Yeah, it is. If not similar, so. No, it's nearly there. Doesn't really matter. 1-0. Move that over. See, I don't really like that actually. It needs to be more bold. But not tungsten like bold, but just more bold. If that makes sense. Can actually sit up for this. I could probably font match. Probably be a good idea. Type, match font. There we go. Be able to match the font here. Try this one, purest to bold. Don't know if it'll work or not. Well, it's similar, but not exactly what I want, but close. There we go. And we'll just make the text size smaller and put it in. I'm assuming this also would have glow on it as well. Yeah, it would. Just wouldn't be as strong. A bit more wider. There we go. Where is the middle for this? There you go. I'll middle them to make sure they're middled. Middle this one too. And now I will also make sure the squares are at the middle as well, because I don't think they are. There we go. Everything should be middled now. And I'll just chuck in whatever logos I've got here. Just go with whatever. Yep, Newcastle Olympic and mate, whoever I've got for PNG. There we go. There we are, all middled. Well, there we go, that's how to make this 4-3-3-1. I'll actually goal, football, ball, PNG. There we go. Yeah, transparent white outline soccer ball. That should work. Download. Where is download for this? No, that's... Mate. There we go. White outline soccer ball. Football. Need a PNG for this, but I can't find anything. That's great. Yeah, see, I knew that would. I knew it would do that. Mate, there's literally nowhere I can download this from. That's great. Surely there's more than like one PNG. Football clip art. Outline. Just because I want to add a goal scorer in. Or can we move the text down? Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit more. There we are. There we go, finally found something. This one. Mate, this is stupid. All of the ones I'm trying to download aren't working. How good. Let me guess, yeah, it would download as a JPEG. Oh, well, we can just do this. Doesn't really matter. Color overlay, convert it to a white, and we'll make it really small. About to sneeze. Okay, I'm back. There we go. Sneezing. That's all right. Hey Raj, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Appreciate it. How do they have this set out? Okay. Who plays for mate? 53. J. There we go. We've only got one person here at the moment. Sick. Oh. And my Photoshop is crashing. Sick. Full time. I don't think I have a full time one. I don't even know if this is gonna let me save this now. Selected font failed during last operation. Full time. There we go. That should work now. No. Okay. Is that all good now? Mate, I don't want to get off this document and it not save, so... what am I going to do to fix this? I'll export it. Just to pictures. Football, let's see if I can save this. Full-time stream. Well, it says it's saved as a Word document. Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'll be breaking down these 3 previous graphics I've made on my live streams. As always, there will be a 2-letter combination just for these videos, just because there are breakdowns, so I'm expecting them to be shorter. And if you've missed my previous live streams, make sure to tune in when I'm live streaming next, usually every 2 days or so. But yeah, see yous and let's get into it. Once again, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how I made all these graphics here on stream. Again, if you've watched the stream and you interacted with the stream and you want these PSDs, please just flick me a message and I'll drop you the PSDs. However, if you didn't watch the stream, please just watch the entire video. The combination of 2 letters, just because these graphics have already been made, will be spread throughout the entire video. It's just a shorter one, so let's get straight into it. We'll start with this KSI graphic. At the time, this was made before he lost, Mr. Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury. So let's work start to finish, as always. What I've done is I've just increased the exposure for our overall camera raw filter, just a little bit on the texture and clarity side of things. I didn't want too much. Just increased the grain by 10, and a little bit of a vignette on the sides, just because I had some darkness here, so I just wanted the light to be more coming from the behind, and as we can see, that's reflected on the 2 images here. Next, what I did is I added a 9.3 color lookup from Ethan J Design, and as we can see, it just kind of drew those purples into the color that I was kind of getting from the vibe. So I took the pink from Jake's previous outfit when he fought, whoever he fought last before Tommy Fury, I can't remember, I don't really care. And then the pink as well, pinkish kind of purple from JJ. So next, what I've done here is, as you can see, there's a hell of a lot of layers here. All I did was chucked a noise kind of layer over the top and a dust kind of layer, and then at the bottom we can see there's a bunch of sponsors logos from JJ as well as Jake as well, and as well then just tucked the DAZN logo and MF Boxing logo up the top, just because I figured it'd probably land on a Misfits card. Obviously it's going to be in Cardiff Principality Stadium if the fight ever does go ahead after Jake's loss. And then as we can see, there's a bit of smoke. I just wanted the smoke to be kind of reflecting the front, so the legs were kind of hidden. I went for a kind of like purpley dark color on this, and then I got the effect I was going for. As we can see here, we're already starting on a hue saturation layer. What I've done here is I've just got that purple and really smallly outlined the sides of where I expected the purple to be coming from, just because we've got a lot of it on the image. I was going to go with an eye effect for Jake, but just because of how low quality the image was, I wasn't too bothered. But I did black and white his eyes out. And we can see the shadowing done to the bottom, just to mask where the black was coming from here. And I did my usual color correcting process of just going over everything. So chucking my opacity down to around 20% for my brush, and then going over the whites and the blacks, and then adding shadow at the bottom for both of them. And again, I repeated that process on the left image for JJ, just putting a color lookup of 3 strip on for him. It just didn't really work the best for Jake, however. For my text, I went with Tamina font. I started off with black and then moved this one to a bold, and then kept that bold with a kind of goldish kind of effect for the backing image. To separate the two images, I chucked a gradient fill on the back of it, but then put a layer mask on it, and then just used my normal gradient tool to push the brush up, and then chucked another gradient fill behind with black and transparent to kind of get this darkened effect in the background, and then drew over the sky effect, which I took from my previous UCL graphics, just in the background, and then slapped that on color. For the camera raw filter, I went for these two JJ and Jake images. I just heavily increased the exposure, the contrast, the texture. I went all the way up just because I was getting some really nice texture coming out of his face and forehead, and then chucked the sharpness up to around 40%. I didn't really want it too high. And as you can see as well, for JJ, I went pretty heavy on the color correction and as well as on the eyes. So all I've done here is I've made a solid color layer, and then just black and white out the side of the eyes, and then increase the exposure to match both eyes, just because I was getting a bit of darkness on the left eye and light on the right eye, and they didn't look too balanced. And then I repeated that process for Jake. So there we go, that's how I made this KSI one. So now let's move on to this Trent Alexander-Arnold one here. As you can see, it's kind of similar to the previous ones I've made, but I went pretty heavy on the post-camera raw stuff. I just knocked the temperature down a little bit, just because I was getting too much yellow coming into the images, and I wanted a bit more balanced color. Increased the exposure slightly, tiny little bit of the contrast, and I went a bit more heavy with the clarity, and I actually added a little bit of dehaze in now. With the grain kind of side of things, I didn't want too much, just a little bit, because I was looking for this card kind of texture, which you can see here, kind of cardish kind of looking thing, and then a little bit of vignette as well. For my texture side of things, I went pretty heavy with everything. As mentioned, there's a bit of grunge taken from my previous, one of my previous graphics. As you can see, just a little bit of grunge kind of stuff, paper, and then I added another Ethan J design lookup layer, and then a bit of an exposure burst, and lots of card kind of stuff. So fabric texture, which you can see is this kind of seat looking kind of thing, paper, another paper one, and then what I've done for these textures is just added a burst of light at the top, 2 particles from Ethan J's texture pack, another exposure burst, some invert, just because I was getting some really nice colors, which you can take from, it's just an invert, so it's just inverting what I've got on the colors, and then just playing around with the opacity, put it down to around 1%, which it just increases the lightness. Added a little bit of brightness and contrast on the sides, just because I was getting some nice colors coming from this trend here, and I was trying to balance these colors. Added my own color correction kind of thing over the top, and put the opacity down to around 30%, and had another Ethan J design texture layer over the top. The text I chose to use here was Better Bank. It's just a really nice kind of scribble kind of font, spray paint kind of font, and then I just put some outing on the outside. In terms for the camera raw I went pretty heavy on trying to get the reds to match, so there's a bit of selective color going on, 3 strip, and then just all my other usual elements. I decreased the saturation slightly, made a S kind of curve, but increased the shadows and put out sharpness to around 30%. And as again, it's just a repeated process of doing my usual color correction. If you do not understand my usual color correction process, please drop me a message and I will make a proper tutorial explaining that. For the shadows, I just did use my normal shadow brush to go over this. However, with my smoke, I was getting some really kind of not nice colors. Having this on normal, it was too red. So I chucked this on overlay because I really kind of wanted that dark smoke and the smoke to be coming under the name and behind in the background. And again, I just repeated these processes for this Trent here. And again, I had to match the reds just because I was getting too dark kind of reds. So I slapped the reds on and then I got some really nice colors coming. As you can see, it's probably not the highest quality image, but that's all right. And then now we'll move to this Trent Alexander-Arnold one here in the background. And I'll talk through what I've done here. As you can see, if I get rid of hue saturation layer here, we can see the kind of green kit. So I added my hue saturation on my own and then just colored the kit in red. And if you've watched my previous tutorials, you probably recognize this back trend image. It's taken from the UCL one. And again, in the background, I've just put in the same photo from the same UCL thing. And then just added in Better Bank with just Liverpool coming across it, chuck the overlay down, chuck the overlay layer style on and the opacity down, and the same sky layer. So now let's move on to the final one. This was just a bit of a fun one. Sydney FC media manager requested this. This is Jordan. He's one of the A-League's designers. I won't speak too heavy on this. Just put Better Bank font on Tamina black, and then put in Tamina demi, and then just did kind of like a wavy style in the background. Couple of photos of him. Some pretty heavy color correction, as we can see, like so. Heavy color correction. Chucked the A-League logo on the top right corner, his logo on the top left corner, and then just put some camera or filter on and a bit of color lookup layer. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, tell me what you want to see next. Thanks for your time. See ya. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make this sports graphic. But as well, before we get into things, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on the video, as over 79,000% of you aren't subscribed. So let's get into things. So the first thing you'll do is you'll grab this pink color and the black, come up to here, create a gradient map. Sorry, the opposite way. Create a gradient map like so. Then what you'll do is you'll come to your shapes tool, go to rectangle, create 3 rectangles, 1, 2, 3. Make sure they're somewhat equal distance apart. Make sure you're not selecting the whole frame like I am. Hold these here again, skew them, duplicate the layer, come over to here, make them bigger, bring them over to here, select soft light, delete the 2 that are outside your artboard. Now what you'll do is you will convert these to a smart object. Again, make sure they're soft light. Come to here, make a layer mask, come into the middle if it wants to let me. Make your brush bigger. Make sure you've got your soft brush selected. Next, what we'll do is we'll grab our preset cutouts that I already have that I'll be using for this graphic once my libraries load. Put the photos in how I want them, like so. Play around with the camera raw filter. Make sure it's on a layer mask like I've got it on. Come up to here, camera raw filter. What we're going to do is increase the exposure by 0.25 and then play around with the clarity and a little bit of the contrast. Now we've got that, we can put this onto that layer, make sure it's the same, like so. Now what we'll do is we'll group these together and again turn our flow down to 20%, like so. Now what we'll do is we'll come to here, change this to shapes, put a circle shape at the back here, duplicate that and put a circle shape at the front here, if it will let me. Now that that's done, what we'll do is we'll go with our tungsten font, make sure it's in white, type the year name, which is 23. Turn our VA to 0. Make this nice and big, like so. Increase, put this in front of the players. Turn the fill down to 0. Make a layer mask, turn this to a smart object, make a layer mask, come to here, keeping your flow at 30%, just softly brushing that out. You just don't want it to appear on the faces. Now that that's done, we quickly come to here and put some outer glow onto both images, just so they stand out from the background. Now what we'll do is we'll again convert this to a smart object, come to here and type in just player name, just as the generic signing graphic. Make sure it's middled to the left, and again skew it. Make it nice and big. You can change this to an opposite color if you want, and then again increase in front, turn down the fill to 0, and put a little bit of stroke on. Again, convert it to a smart object and make the brush a little bit big and just hide it a little bit. Now what we'll do is again with our tungsten, we will come down to the bottom and type in player name. Set this to the middle, increase the VA to 300, come up to your marquee selection tool, select the whole artboard, press V and middle it, make it a little bit smaller, and again we'll just make sure this is in the middle, like so. Now what we'll do is we'll come to here, we'll go black and white, clip mask, play around with the reds just a tiny little bit, invert it, and switch back to a hard round brush, turn the flow back up to 100, and color out the skin color. Now that that's done, select the layer mask, come to gradient map, and make sure that's clipped to the layer. After you've done that, make sure it's on soft light, and again repeat the process on the opposite image. Black and white, play around with the reds tiny little bit, invert the layer, come to gradient map, and again invert it, and just color out the skin color. Like so. Now you can select the layer, invert on selector, there we go, select to soft light. What we'll do is we'll set this to a pink, just so it's able to be red, and turn down the stroke to 1. So this is how you make this sports graphic. If you've enjoyed watching, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and tell me what you want to see next. See ya. Welcome to today's video where I'll be showing you how to make this sports graphic. But before we get into things, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. Let's get into it. Our first step will be to mask out all the rocks from behind this background and make sure it's just the rocks within the image. What you do is you get your pen tool and you'll pen tool the rocks out. Now that you've done that, mask it, and if your mask comes like this, invert it. Now what we'll do is we'll come to filter, come to other, select on minimum, and turn our radius to 1, and click OK. Next, after you've masked the rocks out of the image, drop in this sky image. Enlarge it. Come to camera raw filter. Increase the clarity, the texture, the contrast, and a little bit of the exposure. And now also come to the rocks layer and do the same thing. Now what we'll do is we'll also come to vibrance, create a clipping mask, give it a little bit of desaturation, and now come to making a new layer. Make a new layer and clip it. Make sure you've got your black brush selected, turn the flow right down, and a soft brush as well, and just soften and draw in the shadows on the bottom. Next, drop in a render of your choice. Today we'll be using Callum Wilson. Size it up appropriately so it matches the image. Now what we'll do is we'll come to our adjustments layer, come to curves, and come to reds, and increase the reds. Come back to RGB, and increase the bottom slightly, and the top right, without a clipping mask. Like so. Now, again, come to photo filter, and increase the density to around 70%. Next, come to hue and saturation, increase the saturation and the lightness a tiny little bit. Now what we'll do is we'll come to this Callum Wilson layer, come to camera raw filter, increase the texture, contrast and the exposure, and we'll drop the saturation down slightly. Now what we'll do is we'll come to hue, drop the yellows and the greens, and now we'll come to yellows and drop those completely alongside the greens. And you can see the difference that makes. Now what we'll do is we'll create a layer below Callum Wilson. Using our shadow brush, we'll create shadows. Like so. Drop your flow down to 20% for the shadow on Callum Wilson's legs and feet, and start drawing the shadow. Now that we've done lighting and some shadow on Callum Wilson, I'm going to drop in some dirt. Like so, we're just going to find an angle that works for it. And we're going to blur this slightly. Come to selective color, we're going to match this to the background. And we'll duplicate it and move it to the side. Now what we'll do is we'll come back to Callum Wilson, create two layers, create a clipping mask, come to overlay, set our opacity down to 20% and increase the flow back up to 100. What we're going to do is we're going to start with our whites and draw over the lighter areas of Callum Wilson's face and on arms. So, draw over the lighter areas, really increase the highlights within the image. There we go. Now that we've done the highlights, see the difference they've made. Now we'll switch to our blacks and we will draw over the shadows of the image. Now that that's done, come to the bottom, come to color lookup, create a clipping mask, and again, restrip. But what we'll do is we'll just turn the opacity down to around 50%. Now that that's done, we're going to create our smoke brush. So what we'll do is we'll come to scattering, click scatter, come to shape dynamics, and click angle jitter, and we'll just put some smoke in at the bottom. What we'll do is we'll also change this to normal and just turn down the opacity slightly, and again we will change the coloring of it just so it matches the image a little bit more. After that's done, we're going to come back to Callum Wilson. Again, create another layer, change the color of your brush to black and turn down the opacity to around 15%. Get your soft brush back and draw the shadows onto the kit. Again, take your time with this because it can make your image look very good. Really draw in the shadows onto the crevices of the kit that's already there. And we can see the difference that makes already. Again, now what we'll do is we'll come to behind Callum Wilson. With our white brush, we will make some little highlights behind him, just to make the image pop a little bit more. Just draw in some white lines behind him. And we can see the difference that makes. Now we'll come to Callum Wilson and draw on those highlights onto where we created the image. Like so. Now what we'll do for our final few steps, we'll come back to color lookup. What we'll do is we'll use this color lookup layer. This is an Ethan J design one, so I can't share this one because it's a paid one. But what we'll do is now we will Control Shift Alt and E everything. Come to camera raw filter. Again, what we'll do is we'll slightly increase the exposure, clarity just a little bit, texture just a little bit. Come to curves. Come to S curve, our normal curves, and create an S curve style. Now, come to color grading, and we'll try and draw these reds in. Like so. See the difference that makes, just a little bit more red than blue. Now, we'll add a little bit of grain. And a tiny little bit of vignetting. So there we go, there we have it. This is how you make this sports graphic. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, like, comment what you see next. See ya.